Hey Sainers, welcome to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to Saints TV Weekly. It is Monday, April 11th. Round 4 has just concluded and there's a lot of great news to talk about. In particular, yesterday's performance, so we'll get straight into that. It was a 69-point win against Hawthorn at the MCG, 142-73, taking us to 3 wins and 1 loss. And in 4th position on the AFL ladder with 3 wins, 1 loss, and a percentage of 130. So, absolutely perfect performance. 4-quarter effort, 6 goals in the first term, 6 goals in the second term, 3 goals in the third, and we've finished with a bang, 7 goals to 3 in the 4th term, with 4 players kicking 4 goals, which is a headline there in itself. That is impressive. That hasn't happened, I think, for about 7 years. And it was our biggest score of 142, our biggest score since I think round 22, 2016, and that was when Nick Riewoldt had 9 marks and 21 marks and 9 goals. So it's been a while since we've had a performance like that, and that was across the board, from the back line to the forward line. It was a sublime performance. In particular, players like Brad Hill kicked 4 goals and had 20 disposals, playing off kind of a half-forward flank wing and being on the more attacking side of the field, which was great. We did that late last week against Richmond and it paid dividends, and it did it again today and it worked perfectly. And he took CJ, who's basically been the in-form half-back flanker in the AFL, out of the game and really made him uncomfortable and got reward going the other way. So great move there from Rats and great execution from Brad Hill. On top of that, Gresham kicked 4 and had close to a BOG performance and was immense in the midfield. Membry kicked 4 and did what he needed to do. And of course, Max King, who I thought had somewhat of a quiet game, kicked 4, had 17 disposals and 11 marks. And that's a quiet game for Max King at the moment, who is now equal top of the AFL Coleman medal with Tom Hawkins. So great signs there. Paddy Ryder, 2 goals. Long and Steele, the only solitary goal kickers. And then for Hawthorn, who cares? So that was just great to see. I didn't get to go, unfortunately. I spent a day with the family. But that's 3 wins on the trot now. We've got Gold Coast on Saturday afternoon, early Saturday start. And it's a big opportunity for us to go 4-1. But that was great. My review is out already. Again, I won't go into full details because all the details are on my live review. That's up on YouTube as well. Just type in St Kilda Hawthorn 2022 and I'll be one of the first couple of videos you see. Player ratings is also out, and I'm telling you now, there's a lot of 10 out of 10s in that. So check that out when you can. The podcast will be out in the next couple of days. Just a lot of good vibes at the moment. It's good to be on a bit of a roll, and to see some sustainable football. I do think that this football is the type of football that can win premierships. It's just an even spread. We've been talked about as not having many A graders, but this really, I think, sets the blueprint for how we want to play. And it's the Ben Pattons, the Mackenzies, these sort of guys, the Jack Sinclairs, that just do the job every single week and may not get the attention they deserve. Same with Cal Wilkie, Josh Battle, Jimmy Webster, Ben Long, these guys that don't get the big numbers, but they do enough, and they kind of create this, this energy around the team, and it's just kind of infectious at the moment in a good way, and everyone's kind of jumping on board and loving their footy along with the fans. So good vibes all round. Full analysis on my other video, so check that out when you can. Great performance, 3-1, 4th on the AFL ladder right now. The only negative probably to come from the game, I think, and I was asked in my review, someone asked me to give 5 kind of bad things about the game. That was hard to pick, but I think number 1 is probably the attention that Paddy Ryder's going to get on his hit on Hawthorn player Will Day. I think Will Day went off the ground and didn't come back on. To me, I don't know. I think the AFL is going to give him a week. You can just kind of imagine it. Even watching Fox Footy, the first crack or whatever that podcast is on Fox Footy with Montagna, and I think Jordan Lewis, they basically just said it's going to be a week. And I hate when the media dictates that and basically says it already, because it kind of forces the AFL's hand. But yeah, it looked like the contact was kind of more to the shoulder, but it was more the whiplash for Will Day, the shock that he got hit But to me, it was your stock standard kind of downfield free kick, which it was. It was a downfield free kick. But the fact that he went off, he was a bit sore. I think there's going to be something in that. And obviously it's concussion, and when anything to do with the head, it's going to come under severe scrutiny. So Paddy Ryder is going to be looked at. I don't know when it'll be. It could be tonight. We'll know. But if he gets rubbed out, we know that we've got Jack Hayes that can come in against Gold Coast and support Rowan Marshall next week. But that's a bit of a negative. He played very well, was instrumental in a lot of our clearances and Gresham's goal. He kicked 2 goals of his own. So it'll be a big loss, but I think one we can cover. But hopefully, if he pleads guilty, there might be some sort of leeway and he can get off and just cop a fine. There was the game beforehand as well in the VFL. It was the curtain raiser at the MCG, which was great. That hasn't happened in a while. And Sandy played Box Hill, and Box Hill got the chocolate, 43-point win on Sunday afternoon before the game. Key standouts was Tom Campbell, 31 hitouts, 20 disposals, 9 clearances. So he's another one that could possibly come in. Maybe not just Jack Hayes, but Tom Campbell as well could come in and support Rowan Marshall. A bit more of a senior physical body, could help against Wits and some of the bigger bodies of the Gold Coast. Dean Kent, 22 disposals and 2 goals, although you think we've got enough smalls that are in form at the moment. Dan Butler, Gresham and Long, and Higgins to come back in as well. You probably don't think that Dean Kent will get in, but great to see him performing well for Sandringham. Bytel finished with 22 touches and a goal. Mitch Owens also had 22 touches, and Leo Connolly and Tom Highmore 15 each. Not the greatest. I watched a bit of it. Wasn't the greatest performance. Sandy, I think, kicked their first goal in the 3rd term, and it was perfect conditions, so there was a lot of disconnect between mids and the forward line, and I was a bit worried that was going to translate into the AFL, but it was the complete opposite, where we were just clicking from a St Kilda point of view. But we want Sandy to do well, and they worked their way back into the game late. They kicked 5 goals in the last quarter, but the game was basically done at that point. And I think they'll host Gold Coast at Trevor Barker Oval on Sunday after the seniors on the Saturday. So everyone get down there. Great to support the boys. Trevor Barker Oval is always a great venue to go to. Hopefully the weather's nice and they can get a win. Now for some AFLW news. The AFLW Best and Fairest was held, I think, on the Friday night. I'm not entirely sure when it was. But Bianca Jacobson took it out. She was crowned the 2022 AFLW Best and Fairest, edging out Saints leader Tilly Lucas Rod by a single vote. So it was very, very tight at the top. Jacobson finished on 62 votes overall. Lucas Rod 61. Captain Hannah Priest joined the pair on the podium with 47 votes. So great season for her as well as captain. While last year's 3rd place getter Kat Phillips finished on 39 votes. And Molly McDonald, 24 votes, finished inside the top 5. So overall, I think it was Bianca Jacobson, number 1, Tilly Lucas Rod, Hannah Priest, Kat Phillips, Molly McDonald, Tani White. Surprised she didn't finish high, to be honest. Only 19 votes. I thought she had a great season. Nicola Zenos, 18 votes. Darcy Guttridge, 17. Kate Sherlaw, 15. And Caitlin Greiser, 15 as well, equal 9th for those two. So great to wrap that up. I think it was well deserved for Bianca, and hopefully next season we can continue that form individually, but also get some more wins on the board and hopefully make finals for the first time in our AFLW history. And last, more of sort of the corporate side of Saints TV Weekly. St Kilda Football Club has formalised the promotion of Sarah Lowe to the club's board. So another change to the club's board. A chartered accountant by background, Lowe has worked for almost 2 decades at global conglomerate Ernst & Young Global Limited and currently serves as managing partner F50 Assurance in the Asia Pacific. She says, I've been on the Saints Audit and Risk Committee now for 2 years working with Paul Kirk, and I will continue to work closely with him to understudy the chair aspect and get closer to the finer points of the role. Through my experience, I hope to bring skills that are helpful to the board, particularly through the risk, finance and compliance aspects. So not really focused too much on the on-field stuff, but it's always good to get the right people involved with more of the technicalities of running a football club. And she's very well respected, highly experienced, and a great addition to the St Kilda board. Now, we got through some of that stuff. Now we've got the questions. Got 3 pretty good questions here, so let's get straight through them. This one's from Dylan. Media has said we lack X factor. Have we always had it, but not given the players license to be unleashed? I think we've always had a bit of X factor. Like when you think about it, I think that our midfield's probably the area that gets the most focus, and that's why people say there's no X factor. But you look at Rowan Marshall, Paddy Ryder as rucks, massive X factor there for both of them. Jade Gresham, just look at yesterday and you'll see X factor all over him. Zach Jones will come in, there's X factor. On top of that, Max King is the biggest X factor, along with Jack Higgins, who's got enormous talent and creativity and X factor. And Dan Butler as well. So I think there's that's 7 or 8 players already in the starting 22. Not to mention players that can come in like Billings and Hunter Clark as well. They've got a lot of different talents that not a lot of players have. That's 10 players more, in a potential starting 22 squad that have enormous creativity and X factor and explosiveness in a certain aspect of their game. So I think we're getting the reward from the Rats giving them the license to run. Even Dan McKenzie in a way has X factor. He's taken the game on. You see Seb Ross yesterday, X factor by running, gut running, taking the game on, taking bounces. We took 13 bounces to 2 yesterday. That means we were running, taking the game on, and not just running and bombing. It was running, taking a bounce, assessing the options, and hitting a target. So absolutely, I think that the media love to hit us on that, and we're a bit vanilla and boring. But we're the highest scoring team in the competition at the moment. We absolutely smashed Hawthorn, who have been in every game and could have been 3-0, and they were the love child of the AFL. And we've got Max King, who's leading the Coleman medal, and Jack Steele, who's one of the best players in the competition. So, they can say whatever they want, but we know internally we've got a pretty good team, and yesterday was some of the most watchable football that you'll see this season. That's how good we were playing. So, no complaints from a Saints point of view. Darcy is asking, are we finally back to 2020 St Kilda? Good question, Darcy. I actually think that 2020 St Kilda wasn't the template, wasn't the benchmark St Kilda. I think that was a start. But remember, the quarters were shorter. We kicked a lot of goals out the back. They were cheap goals from turnover. It wasn't sustainable. Max King wasn't firing yet. Our midfield wasn't complete yet. Our backline probably still prone to a few mistakes. But now I think we're settling the backline. The midfield's looking like it's got some serious talent. And then our forward line, I think, is one of the more dangerous in the competition with Brisbane. And that's why we're number 1 for points for, and Brisbane is second for points for. So those two teams right up there in terms of goals. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact we've got good talls, good smalls, and midfielders that can go forward and kick goals as well. So, 2020 was a good start, but I think this year we might be able to see the real St Kilda stand up. And last one from Shanks, Isabel. What was the best highlight of the match? Ooh. Best highlight. There was a lot. There was a lot of highlights. I mean, Gresham's dodge and then snap was brilliant. I quite liked just seeing Brad Hill kick 4 goals. If that's just a single highlight, just Brad Hill's performance in itself, to see him get back to his best and play off half forward and kick goals. Brad Hill taking the kick at the end and nailing it on the boundary was beautiful. And then also the one where we kicked it long to Max King, who got a free kick, but he marked it anyway, contested mark, swung around and kicked the most beautiful low dart to Brad Hill, who ran into an open goal and kicked it. And that was Saints footy transition from one end to the other in a blink of an eye. So really, there was too many highlights. I've got to watch the full replay to find more highlights. That was probably my main takeout from the game, was Brad Hill and seeing how valuable he can be off half forward in an attacking position and not off half back with, with opportunities for him to defend and worry about his man and all that crap. Just give him the footy, let him run forward and do his thing, and let, players worry about Brad Hill and not Brad Hill worry about his opponent. I think that's the key takeout. There you have it, Sainers. That's Saints TV Weekly. Hopefully you enjoyed it. A lot of good news to come from the week, and there's still a lot of good news to come. Hopefully Paddy Ryder can get off the tribunal and play against the Gold Coast. We'll find out this week if Zach Jones potentially could come back into the lineup. There's Jack Billings, who's a couple of weeks away, and then Hunter Clark a couple of weeks away as well, I think. So really excited to see the development of those players and see when they can come back into the lineup, which will only strengthen our overall starting 22 for the games. The podcast will be out in a couple of days' time. And as always, I've got the match review and player ratings already out. So if you want to catch up on those, I'll put a link at the end of this video and you'll be able to watch those straight away. And if you're watching, as I say every week, and you've enjoyed these videos and you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Help us grow. Comment, like. I'll respond to as many as I can. I really appreciate your support as always. And let's just keep this good feeling going for another week, because it's been it was a tough start to the season, but now we're on a roll. 3 wins now, going for 4, and hopefully we can get the job done on the weekend. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video on Saints TV Weekly. Take care, guys, and go you mighty Saints.